excited to have our guest on with us to talk a little bit more. We're in part three of our chat with one of our local candidates. We're going to get to that in just a second. We want to thank our sponsor, the Cinder Inn. Check out everything that they have going on over there. I have to say, I had them cater a party for me this past weekend. The food was amazing, wasn't it, Sarah?
It was. It
It
was
was
delicious.
really, really good. I have to say that she has a great menu. The food was delicious. It was very affordable. It was perfectly fresh and perfectly cooked and very affordable. So if you're going to have a party and you need a caterer, I highly suggest you check out the Cinder Inn. They also have specials every day for drinks and food. They have live music and events going on all the time. And I heard she just got a bigger party dome. So you can have a party of 8 in one of her outside domes and still, be COVID friendly and all that sort of thing. So check out the Cinder Inn over on Mill Creek Road here, right here in Stroudsburg. And also we want to thank A Bit of Bliss Therapy in Pocono Lake. It's a great place for a massage, spa services. If you need to relax a little bit, head up there and talk to April and her staff and get an appointment. Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Hi, Holly. And we should mention that the food was actually for your 20th anniversary party.
It was.
I think that it is a very wonderful thing when a couple can make it to 20 years the way that,
Yeah, we actually still like each other.
Yeah, you actually like each other, which is kind of a rare thing in today's society, I think, so.
It was really funny. Today, I put in my resignation as secretary of my Boy Scout troop because my son has attained his Eagle Scout and he's moving on to other things. And at the end of the year, I'm done being secretary for our music boosters. And I had somebody say to me, what are you going to do with all your free time? I said, I'm going to spend it with my husband. Like, we're going to go do stuff. And they looked at me like I was nuts. It was really funny. I'm like, I actually want to.
Yeah, well, I have to say that, that is not a common thing right now for people to want to go out and spend time with their significant others.
Yeah.
But anyway, hi, Holly. It's so nice to be here. And I want to welcome Dulce Ritter for our part 3 of our conversation about her and her platform. So hi, Dulce.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. So we're going to have a conversation tonight a little bit about what it's like to be a woman running on the Republican platform there is a certain sentiment in this country right now that maybe is not so fun to be around as a Republican woman. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that and what you have to say about it?
Well, people that know me for a long time know that I used to be a Democrat. And I started really young because I've always loved politics. To me, politics, elections were like the Super Bowl. And I had my team, and other people had their team, and every day at work we would go at it, debate and make fun of each other. It was fun. It was fun back then, even though we didn't agree. And back then I was a Democrat. I consider myself a Kennedy Democrat. And that was like late 90s. And it's funny because I just shared a post that I met Rudy Giuliani. And when Giuliani ran, I was a teen mom, and I was a member of Causa, which was it was like the sister of Acorn in New York City. And I used to go to rallies. We were at they tried to get us at every event where David Dinkins was. And I supported David Dinkins because he looked like my grandfather. He looks like my mother's father, exactly like him. So we loved him. So I didn't want Giuliani to win. I hated Republicans. I was taught to hate Republicans. Republicans, we were told were the rich people that hated all the poor people. And that was how I grew up in New York, even though I got there at 9 years old, but that's what I was taught in school and everywhere else. So then Giuliani gets in, and I when I was a teen mom, I had welfare, and I've been trying to go to school, and it was a bit difficult for me with the kids. And I got into a program that Giuliani started that it was called the Wildcat program. And there, I think I mentioned it in one of our previous discussions. There I was trained in all of office and then tested. And if you did well on the test, they placed you in one of the firms, the financial firms in New York City, which is, I got into Morgan Stanley, but they also placed people in Solomon Smith Brothers back then, Merrill Lynch, all those big financial corporations. So here I was hating Giuliani, back then, because I didn't want him to win, and then he wins and he cleans up New York City. He gives us a hand up. Because of that program, I was able to work for Morgan Stanley, and I started at Morgan Stanley as an intern because they took you in as an intern first to see how you did. And then they hired you directly. And I was hired by them, and I was being groomed by them. And then 9/11 happened. So I left Morgan Stanley in 2002 as an operations analyst. So ever since I got in there, I was promoted to a different level. The last position that I held in Morgan Stanley was an operations analyst and a member of NORT. That I'm so proud of NORT. NORT was the National Operations Response Team for our company. And what we did was we went to different departments when they needed us the most. And we had to learn the procedures right there and then. And then we had to come up with a better procedure, more efficient procedure to get things done. So I love working there. I love the towers. And here he is, this man, this Republican that I didn't want him to win, doing this stuff. So on Saturday, I got to meet him and I got to thank him for myself.
How nice is that?
Yes, it is. And that was the start. That was the start of me questioning the Democrat Party, because they always said that they wanted to help us. And I'm sure that there were some, can you hear me? Can you hear me when it goes?
Your camera just clicked off.
Just keep right on talking, Dulce.
Okay, I'll just keep on talking. So I'm sure there were some Democrats involved in that program as well. And that's the way it should be. Democrats and Republicans should be working together. But I want to explain to you the transition, how it happened. So I started opening my eyes then. I still wasn't a Republican. I was more of an independent, I consider myself. And then I started seeing the people that want equality. Okay, they want everybody to be equal and everybody to be treated the same, which is in fairness, right? But if you want equality, you don't go around, if you want everything to be equal, you don't go around dividing those people.
That's right.
So how are you wanting everybody to be equal when you're placing everybody in a little box? Okay, you're gay, you're Black, you're Latino, you're white, you're Asian, you're Indian. Everybody has a label, everyone. So how does that equal equality? It didn't make sense to me when we're trying to be equal, you separating us into different categories. That's not equality to me. Then a lot of things that I saw with my own eyes, of people pretending to be our friends and trying to help us because we're victims and we're never going to amount to anything because we've been marginalized, and you deserve better. You deserve to be on welfare for the rest of your life because you're a victim. And that's basically the narrative. And I got tired of it, especially after going through the Wildcat program where they just build you up, So I decided when was that? I think it was 2008. I don't even remember, to become a Republican. And that what drew me to that conclusion was my values. I sat down and I looked at my values. What are my family values? And I no longer share the values of that party. And that's why I had to leave. And now it's gotten progressively worse. with the socialism, with the communism, with the rioting. That's not the Democrat Party that I knew. The Democrat Party that I knew was one that was accepting, that was tolerant, that was for the little guy.
Mhm.
And it doesn't seem to be that way. It's no longer tolerant, is no longer for the little guy, and is full of hate. It's full of hate. So that's why I'm running as a Republican woman. Now, I'm not saying that Democrats are all like that, because most of my friends and family are Democrats.
Right.
It's just what you see in the media. It's just how you see them in the media. But I have to tell you, my Democrat friends and family are more middle of the road, and we share the same values. We want the same thing. We want a great community. We want our people to thrive. Um, and the labels and the should be taken away. Look at the work. Look at the person. Vote the person, because labels don't do the work. It's the person that gets the work done.
Well, and I think that you hit on a very important point. You and your family, you're divided, but you're not divided. You have, differing viewpoints, maybe politically, but it's not like you're separated. I see it, so many things on Facebook, like, if you don't believe this, you can't be my friend. If you don't believe this, you can't be my friend. Well, if you are putting that on a friendship, then how can you be anybody's friend? Because I think everybody is entitled to their own point of view, whatever it may be. I whether it's about abortion, whether it's about taxes, whether it's about whatever it might be. If you have a differing viewpoint, that doesn't make you less of a person.
No, no. And this is my motto in life, is live and let live. And I can tell you how I feel. I can tell you my opinion, but that's it. And you can tell me yours, and I will accept, I will respect your opinion, but I'm not going to try and change your mind if you don't want to, because I see other qualities in you as a friend.
Right.
I'm not going to lose a friend if because I don't agree with what they're thinking, in especially in politics. When that changes every 4 years or every 2 years, they may change who they're going to support. So how am I going to lose a friend over politics? I've
Well,
never personally given up on any of my friends for politics. Unfortunately, some of my friends have, because the hate that they feel for particular candidates is overwhelming. And it takes over. That hate you should not hate a political candidate more than you love your country or more than you love your friends. And so I never hate on any of them.
I try really hard. I was just talking about this the other day. Like, I don't hate anybody. There's some people that I don't need to be around, but that doesn't mean that I hate them. You know what I mean? And it's like, but this year it seems I'm having a really, really hard time with our state. I have a senior in high school, and the lockdown and the subsequent issues that happen have like affected every part of my life. It affected my work, how I worked, what happened with my work. It affected my son's work. It affected my son's school. It affected my husband's work. It affected sports. Now it's my son's senior year. And I find that a lot of the stuff that's happening has I'm a big person on facts and data, and how do you come up with the plan that you have. You make a plan, and the plan makes sense, and everybody works on the plan, and we get to where we want to be. And I feel like most of the stuff that happens in our state, unfortunately, is just made up. Like, it's just like, I feel like this is what we're gonna do, and I'm not going to tell you why. So how do you feel about how we've been going through this kind of like the motions of the legislature comes up with, new laws, new ideas. They're trying to move the state forward. It gets passed. The governor vetoes it. And about a week later, he comes up with some sort of something that's
What-
similar, but not really, and kind of throws a bone at the people, but really doesn't. And what do you think about all that?
What he's doing is unconstitutional.
Well,
And
we know that that appeal is going on as
yes,
well.
but let me tell you what the danger of what he's doing, the most dangerous thing that he could do. Right now, he's a Democratic governor that has silenced the voice of the people. Okay. Your state representative, your senator, that's us. That's our voice. They make the laws based on what we sent them to do in Harrisburg, and they've done their job. They passed the bills, and then the governor has vetoed them. Okay. Now think about this. What they're not taking into account, if that this is if this is allowed now, it could be allowed for a Republican to do this as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
Okay.
it's across the board. It's a give and take thing. It's kind of like, you
Yeah.
know, you tit for tat. You know, you do, instead of everybody saying, you know, this is a little bit out of the ordinary what we have going on right now, and everybody should like at least have a conversation.
Yeah, but the governor cannot be making the laws himself. The legislature is the one that has to come up with the bills. He's just there to, you know, sign off, but he's not doing that. And that's very dangerous because, again, if you have a Republican in the governor's seat, you don't want them to do the same thing if there's a Democratic House or Senate. So the HR 836, the resolution that was passed, that should have been signed because that would protect both Republicans and Democrats from somebody who wants to be a dictator anytime in the future. That is a very important resolution. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we can win the House, if we get like the votes that we need to get it passed, it should get passed, and that should not be left. You know, that should not be forgotten. That needs to get passed because we can't have either party violate the rights of the people. Okay, because it's all about the people, and the people are totally silenced right now by this.
You know, there are, but they're not because I belong to a group. It's called Let Them Play MPA, and it's focused mostly on, well, it's sports, clubs, music. It's all the extracurriculars that kids do that help them get scholarships for college, help them get into college, help them socialize, help them learn to be part of a team. You know, all the things that people think that may not be as important as going to school. And there's over 20,000 people in that group on Facebook that and they evolve what they advocate for. First, it was to advocate for the kids to play. Then it was to advocate for the kids to have band and cheerleaders so that they had support. Then it was to let the parents watch. Now it's to have spectators watch. Now everybody there is turning their head towards winter sports because they'll all be indoors. And how much will be taken away again because since the appeal went through for limitations being unconstitutional, the governor can still kind of do whatever he wants whenever he wants. So everybody is a little concerned that winter sports, you know, the wrestling, the swimming, the indoor things that kids do is going to be affected. So there are huge groups of people that are advocating for the opposite of what's going on. So I think that even though he's not listening to the legislature, eventually, and I know he's not up for election, but his attorney general is. His attorney general is. I think that the thing is that people are very, very, very educated for this election when it comes to the state level. And I think they're very, very determined to make a change at the state level. I know that everybody talks about the national, you know, politics and stuff like that, but people don't realize how much your state and your local government affects what really goes on in your life on a day-to-day basis. You know, I'm not affected by the majority of the laws that, you know, the United States Senate and Congress is talking about, but what's going on in Harrisburg affects all of our lives that live here in our state. And wherever you people are out there in the universe, your state is the same way. Your state and your local localities, the decisions these people make, from your school district board to your local councils to your state legislature, that really affects the things that you do every single day with your work and your school and just going about your everyday business. And I think that this year, people have turned their head to that.
Mhm.
What do
And
you think?
I think so. And I think more and more people have realized the value of also teaching our kids how the government works, because a lot of people have always been, oh, I hate politics, I hate politicians, they're all the same. And then your business gets shut down, then your kid's not allowed to go back to school, so then it affects you directly. And it's very important that people become involved in politics and in policy and in informing themselves constantly of what's going on, because so many people don't even know that the governor is the most important person in our state. Like, they're blaming the president for stuff that the governor is responsible for. So they don't we only see ourselves as a country sometimes, but we don't realize, like you said, the importance of the state where you live, because each state is like their own little country.
Mm-hmm.
I think
each state is run differently.
I think it's very interesting that people don't become more involved in politics and understand the jobs of the various positions. So maybe you want to explain to people what exactly the job is for the position that you're running in for.
Well, I'm running for state representative of the 115th district, and my job is to listen to the people, listen to the problems that we're facing here, okay, and then go to Harrisburg, write bills, and try and get our issues resolved. It's very simple, it's a very simple job, but when people do this job for the wrong reasons, we have what we have today. We have someone who votes with the governor, someone who is meeting with restaurants. The restaurants are asking, please help us. Meets with them 1 week, and then the next week goes to Harrisburg and votes against them. That's not what a state representative is. Is a representative. You represent the people of your district. Not your boss is not the governor. Your boss is the people of that district. And I think we've lost that. These politicians, and again, I'm going to tell you, I'm not running to be a politician. I'm running to be a public servant. Get it in their heads that these other people are their bosses. The boss is you, the people.
I think that is a great place to end this. We've used up all of our time. I'm so glad that we had to get a chance to talk again, Dulce. Do you have any events coming up quickly?
I've been door knocking.
She's door knocking, so you might see her at your door. Social distance, wear your mask and all that.
I wear my mask. I wear my apron with my stuff and my gel, and I don't even touch the doorbells. I have this little key thing to
Awesome. You're doing everything right. We want to thank our sponsors, A Bit of Bliss Therapy up in Pocono Lake and the Cinder Inn down here in Stroudsburg, for bringing us to you every week. We will be back again next Tuesday night with another fun topic about the Poconos. Thank you, everybody, and